just gave me info about moderators. I definitely am not to the point where I think I need moderators. Nonetheless, I'm going to get us some background noise going while I'm giving it a minute. Grand Rising. I hope everybody's having a positive, productive day so far today. If not, I pray your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the Most High help you with that. I also pray that he clothes you in his armor from head to toe, that he strengthens your discernment and guides your steps as you go throughout this day. Here we go. It is Friday. Happy Friday. All right. Oh no, what did I just do? Okay. It is a dreary, overcast kind of morning in my area. It's a little bit later in the day than what I normally come on. I was trying to wait to find out to see if I had to work today or not, but I still haven't gotten a response, so we're just going to go with it. I hope you're having nice weather in your area. It's still really soggy from all the rain yesterday. All right, let's get a morning mantra card. I can't change which way the river bends, so I might as well strap in and enjoy this strange little boat ride. Anyone bring a cooler? Let's see. It looks like maybe some bugs riding on a leaf, having some drinks. So no, we may not know where this journey is going to take us, but at the same time, even though it's not always the easiest thing to do, the best thing to do is just try to go with the flow and make the best out of whatever situation you're dealing with. All right. Now we're going to get a Namaste Stress Less card. Our card last time was the power of breath. And when I read that just now, it made me think of the Mary Magdalene card where it talks about, 3 intentional breaths can bring you back into the present. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed, angry, sad, if you can just stop and pause and just breathe for as long as possible. Grand Rising, hello, happy Friday. All right, let's get a stress less card. Namaste. I like the little exercises that it talks about. Sit under a tree. So still kind of focusing on that meditative aspect of it. You can physically do this or imagine it. Either way, you must notice the tree. What kind is it? What color are the leaves? What season is it? What noises do you hear? What scents do you capture? Sit under the tree for 8 minutes and let your senses run wild. Nature is one of the greatest healers. Whether you are physically there or imagine a beautiful natural scene in your mind, you will begin to relax. Nature is a natural stress reliever and an organic way to cultivate a feeling of peace. So taking that time to yourself, meditating, even if you don't, do what most people think of when they think of meditation, just getting that quiet time to yourself. We talked about that earlier in the week. And of course, it's something that a lot of us forget to do. We get so caught up in the rest of everyday life that we just fail to take that time. We talked about, if you have to, actually planning that time. Because I realize and understand that some people's schedules are busier than others, but as we say so often, you can't pour from an empty cup. Okay, now we're going to get an Angel of Abundance card. I can't change which way the river bends, so I might as well strap in and enjoy this strange little ride. Finding fun in the everyday moments. Windfall of abundance, partnership, and take a divinely guided chance. This one has a guy that looks like Santa Claus in it. Looks like maybe a mother and a daughter. It looks like they're reading sheet music. So you got a very winter scene and then a very spring-like scene. And then this one, it's dark. And they've got the light of the candles, light of spirit. All right, the first one out was Windfall of Abundance. An increase in abundance is arriving in many different forms, some of them unexpected. Be open to receiving and know that this abundance comes to you to support your life purpose, health, and charitable work. So, if you're, whatever project you're working on in your life, it's going to be different for everybody. Know that support is there. If it, something that you feel like you're meant to do, then partnership. We got ideal partnership in the last pull we did. So again, we could be talking about like an actual physical partnership with a person, business entity of some kind, or a spiritual partnership as well. Allow healthful, supportive partnerships into your personal life and career, and both parties benefit as a result. You are receiving help from heaven and from a person who brings needed skills and resources. So understanding and knowing that, there are angels that walk amongst us, and spirit also chooses to work through certain people for bringing us what we need, the help, the support, whether that's, whatever kind of support that is. It doesn't necessarily have to be financial support. Take a divinely guided chance. All positive change and successful ventures involve a degree of risk, and you are ready to follow your divine guidance to new territories. As you leave behind that which is comfortable and familiar but no longer appropriate for you, you make room for new and more meaningful opportunities. We talk about that a lot, letting go of the past in whatever way that means. That could be past relationships, past ways of thinking, just past situations in general. Letting go of the old, making room for the new. And something that kept coming to mind after I did the last video was, we talked about being triggered and sitting down and thinking about and really analyzing what about that specific event was triggering. sometimes people, that is like their role in our lives in a nutshell, is to come in and trigger us, to make us see the things that we have been avoiding. Because even if you're actively working on your life and working on yourself, you know, there are things that take more priority than others. So, you know, it's like working on a checklist, and there's just certain things that you have to check off before you can get to the next step. But, I mean, as I say so often, your angels, your ancestors, your spirit guides, and of course the Most High, they're always there, you know, rooting for us. But, you know, it's one thing to have the knowledge. It's another thing to actually apply that knowledge to your life. It's a lot, in retrospect, you know, it's a lot easier to gain the knowledge than it is to actually apply it. And I mean, that basically just boils down to how bad do you want it, you know? All right. We'll get a chakra oracle wisdom, and then we'll also get a chakra affirmation. We got 3 from the oracle last time. Faith, instinct, and passion. Passion was the one that came out on top at that pull, and so we put emphasis on that. You know, taking the time to sit with yourself and find what truly brings you passion. Not just people, places, and things, but what are active things that you can do with your life that bring you passion, that make you happy. It's something that you get up and you actually want to do it, like you're excited to do it. You know, yeah, I of course know that, you know, sometimes we just have to submit to the system in ways and, you know, get a basic 9 to 5 just to manage, so that we can either find out what that passion is, because a lot of us don't get to that point until we're later in life, you know, where we finally wake up and realize that we've been this fake illusion of a person for most of our lives, and we've strayed so far away from who we truly are that it takes us, it's a whole journey getting back to who we really are. You know, that's what all that quiet time is about. And not only that, but, you know, analyzing the different relationships that you have with people. You know, if you're a very needy person, like you always have to be around people, why is that? You know, that could be that could be one of those triggers, that mysticism. That could be one of those triggers that opens your eyes to something that needs to be worked on. Enlightenment on the bottom of the deck. Prayer on the top of the deck. 2 yellows. But mysticism is actually what flipped over. Mysticism. She's very cloaked in this picture. It's a purple cloak. She's standing outside a door, like she's walking down like an empty street. That could almost represent like a place of worship. A woman named Aubergine. You are not to know. The legend. A woman named Aubergine calls on the telephone to confirm that she will be with us tonight. Yet no woman named Aubergine had been invited. Of the 4 invited, 2 are wed and 2 are unknown to each other, a woman and a man. Surely, if this mysterious woman were the guest of the man, she would have made it known. A woman approaches, the woman named Aubergine, the woman who will be with us tonight. Inspiration. It is wise to be the observer. Do not respond until you are certain. The unknown is not easy, but it is no longer necessary to fear. Personal inquiry. Am I ignoring my intuition? What I suspect is probably true. I must breathe. Key ideas: ignoring signs, unknown motivation, intuitive knowing, fear of the unknown, and journey. Key words: intuition, courage, and uncharted. Being the observer. The unknown is not easy, but it is no longer necessary to fear. So fear of the unknown, letting fear of the unknown stop you from pursuing, stop us as people from pursuing enlightenment and prayer. And so that's just kind of going right along with what I said about the partnership with spirit. Go into prayer with mysticism, like with an open mind. And the more you sit under that tree, the more you take time, the more enlightenment you'll get. I mean, in reality, not only is that quiet time about processing your own thoughts, but it's also about being quiet enough so that you can get those intuitive messages. We all have that. We may just need to strengthen it. I mean, we all need to do that too. It's a journey, you know? It doesn't just happen. All right, now we'll get a chakra wisdom affirmation. All right, so yellow represents the solar plexus, which is in your belly area. Purple represents third eye, which is in between your eyebrows. In scripture, the third eye, the pituitary gland, or the pineal gland, is referred to as the lamp of the soul. I see one that one. There's another one that's flipped over. When I put the cards back in, I must have put them in the wrong way. Anyways, we got sexuality, second chakra, sacral chakra. And then we got fifth chakra, throat chakra, truthfulness. We just recently got the truthfulness. And honestly, the sexuality one is usually one that when it comes out, I usually end up putting it back. Abundance was flipped over as well, sacral chakra. Yeah, that was it. All right. And it's actually sensuality, not sexuality. I encourage myself to express my sensuality and emotions creatively using all my faculties. I was right the first time. Including touch, voice, and actions, and creative abilities such as art, craft, music, acting, cooking, gardening, and writing. So going back to finding those things that bring you joy, bring you happiness, bring you fulfillment, because when all that goes into it, that's where the true abundance comes from. I practice being aware of and enjoying my senses being nourished and stimulated by the natural world, such as by landscapes, people, weather, animals, aroma, and sounds. So using all your senses. I can't change which way the river bends, so I might as well strap in and enjoy this strange little boat ride. I call it a roller coaster ride, but boat ride works too. That's our daily mantra for the day. Finding humor, and once you get to the point to where you can see all the little signs and, like, say the synchronicities, you know, once you really start noticing them, it'll have you rolling. It'll have you, but it's one of those things that you have to do it, you know, you have to practice. It's not, I mean, I guess it does kind of come natural. Oh, and look, that's the other one. Obstacles and blocks are lifted. That was one of the angel abundance that we got the other day. I thought I already put those back in, but I missed one. All right, now we're going to get at affirmators. Self-help without all the self-helpiness. Then we'll get a Bird's Allies. I love the little cartoon pictures that are on these cards. They really bring humor into it. Humor can be very healing. It can really help relax you in, you know, more stressful times. Some people, it's their go-to. Humor is how they deal with any kind of uncomfortable situation. Those people are actually kind of fun to have around, you know, because it's not always easy. They're usually pretty quick-witted. I have my moments where I'm witty, but it's definitely not something that happens all the time. Generosity and peacefulness. I love this one because it looks like it's like a gypsy wagon. It was 22:32 when I looked at the timer. And then generosity. A rabbit giving a gift to a hippo. I give generously to those around me. No matter how much or how little I have, I know there is more than enough to go around, and that the key is to allow it to keep going around without stopping. If I stop the flow, I'm like the one person at the stadium who doesn't do the wave. So, reciprocation, going back to the partnerships, you know, being a positive member of the group, no matter what group you're talking about, you know, being that person that willingly shares a smile to help somebody else smile, you know, just as a basic example. All right, and then peacefulness. I have a peaceful, tranquil, and untroubled heart. This is where I choose to spend my time. I can bring guests, but any person, thought, or event that brings drama or chaos is not invited. My heart is a special property, and I'm going to keep it that way so we can all keep enjoying it, and I get my security deposit back. Giving to the right people. That is when you learn how to be discerning about who to allow into your life, about what you want to participate in, what you're not going to participate in, being able to put up those boundaries. Once you learn how to do that, the generosity, being generous won't open the door to bad things. You'll be able to discern, you know, people who are there with true intentions, and people that are there to, you know, just take advantage of the generosity. All right. You know, I've always been it just comes to me naturally, being generous person, but peacefulness is something that I had to learn, because we all have different things that affect us. And for me, other people's energy very much affects my energy. And so I have to be careful at who I spend my time around, because it can wear off. And in reality, that's all of us. If you spend enough time around certain people in a certain environment, in a certain frame of mind, if you spend too much time in one that's not of a peaceful nature, it will deteriorate you on multiple different levels. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, it will deteriorate you slowly but surely. All right. Now we're going to get an Animal Allies Birds. As I say that, I can hear the birds chirping outside. I'm loving having the little fence area up so that I can just leave the back door open and the dogs can just come and go as they please. Yeah, it's nice. Okay. I think they enjoy it too. But it has been rainy these last couple days, so, they haven't spent much time out there through the rain. Flicker, again. We just got that not long ago. Crow on the bottom of the deck, followed by dove. Look at that. Look at the yin-yang imagery there, the black and the white. Heron on the top of the deck. Something I've noticed with these birds cards is we get a lot of repeats, because Flicker, we just had that the other day. Dove and crow. I'm not going to read those, but, just the yin and yang aspect of that imagery. Yeah. Light and dark. Day and night. All right. Flicker. Healing, renewal, taking a pause, seeking balance, honesty, nurturing, ability to blaze through the mundane. That goes back to our mantra of the day. I can't change which way the river bends, so I might as well strap in and enjoy this strange little boat ride. Flicker wisdom. Words of love and encouragement soothe sore spots, both internally and externally. Not every problem can be solved with affirmations, but they're a nice, easy place to start. So, yeah, it's great to say the affirmations, but what did I say earlier about having the knowledge and using the knowledge, actually applying it? It's two completely different things. When Flicker appears, you are entering a new cycle of growth. Prepare yourself for change and opportunity. You may feel uncomfortable with what's ahead, but the only way forward is to fly through. Flicker wants you to know it's time to figure out what fosters your own healing. It could be as simple as more alone time or a daily cup of special tea. What did we talk about in the very beginning? Even if you have to schedule it, schedule that time. Believe you me, I know how hard it is. It didn't used to come so easy to me, which some days it's still not easy, but celebrate the little wins, take the time to celebrate, but also be aware that there's, that we might experience like plateaus, like, you've been climbing up the mountain, you've accomplished a bunch of little goals to obtain a goal. Well, now you have a new level, right? You've got more goals that you want to accomplish. So knowing that it's not done yet, that yes, you may need to take some time to rest, to recuperate, to give some exchange of energy and embrace the enlightenment as it comes for where you're going to go next. We all have that process that we're going through, different levels, different devils, new devils, however you want to say it. The journey, it's a journey, and it always comes back to how bad do you want it? Are you willing to do the things that you don't necessarily want to do, but that you need to do so that you can get where you want to go? Usually the best thing to do is the hardest thing to do, and that's usually because it's something we don't want to do. Whatever it is, whether you're talking about exercising or, changing jobs or, moving to a different state, whatever it is that you're talking about. That being said, I talked about enjoying a special cup of tea. I'm enjoying a smoothie this morning. Finally got me a new blender, so I'm able to do my smoothies again. Been working in some of my herbal powders, so get back to work. Strawberry game. It doesn't look like I am going to work today, so that's why I'm here chatting with you guys. Nonetheless, we'll get an angel number card. Last time we got 1414. Ignite your spark. Finding what ignites your spark. And if you've already found that, what are you going to do with it? Have you decided that whatever it is that you want to do, maybe you need to do some networking to find people that have that same interest or have that same desire, or maybe could even contribute to whatever it is that you're working on? Like we said before, 6363 wanted to pop out. Keep the faith. Faith was one of the wisdom or chakra wisdom oracle that we got the other day. Of course, faith is always important. It's important to be able to at least have faith in yourself and trust yourself. We had a bunch come out, but only 2 of them flipped over. 5 transformation showing on the bottom, but we got 1133 crossroads, so another card indicating change. And then 2020 strength was a big showed itself in a big way in the last pull that we had. I think we had like 4 or 5 strength cards out here last time. So 1133, crossroads, decision, intuition, guidance, choice. We got comfort zones on the bottom of the deck, 3737. I just now noticed that. Guidance, choice, path, trust, and direction. If you are at a crossroads and unsure which way to go, this number is a reminder to trust your intuition. Follow your gut feeling to guide you through your decision. What are the key decisions I'm facing right now? And how can I use my intuition to make the best choice? So once again, taking that time to actually think about choices that need to be made now, maybe upcoming choices, maybe changes are happening. And changes are always happening, especially in the world, so deciding what actions need to be taken. Take a few moments to meditate or reflect quietly. Pay attention to your inner voice and feelings about the choices you need to make. Trust in your intuition to lead you to the right direction. So once again, going into meditation, going into prayer, taking time to, dig deep and decide what is best for you, what is going to lead you in the right direction based on the goals and things that you want to accomplish. And then 2020 is strength. Resilience, courage, inner power, determination, fortitude, and endurance. Draw on your inner strength during challenging times. Your resilience can lead to personal growth. Stay focused and remain open-minded as you navigate each step of your journey. In what areas of my life do I need to harness my inner strength? How can I stay resilient and focused despite the challenges? That very much goes with our daily mantra for the day. Identify one challenge you are currently facing and create a plan to address it. Remind yourself of past success where you overcame difficulties and draw strength from those experiences. So even if you have to sit down, we got it, I think, at the end of last week. Even if you have to sit down and literally make a list, do that if that's what works for you. What is an area of my life that I need to harness my inner strength? What's an area that you've been struggling? Just sit down and focus on it. Granted, I understand that that is not always easily accomplished. It is difficult to focus sometimes, especially when it's something that you don't want to focus on. It's just okay, have you ever noticed when you know that you need to do the dishes and you'll find 50 other things to do instead of doing the dishes? It's kind of the same thing. There's a bird at the door. It's the same thing. We avoid the things that are uncomfortable or that we're unsure of or that we feel like we don't have any control over. Fear of the unknown. Guilty is charged, but don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from pursuing something that could truly change your life for the better. Something that is truly fulfilling. It's different for everybody, obviously. All right, we're going to get an animal spirit card and then we'll get an herbology card. Horse and shark on the bottom of the deck. Nightingale. We get a lot of repeats out of this deck too. Camel behind shark. We're just going to do horse and nightingale. The third eye is, highlighted. And we did get that in our chakra wisdom oracles. All right, so nightingale and horse. Of course, it's going to be at the very back. Momentum, freedom, expansive energy, and force. The horse represents the most masterful form of earth energy within the deck. It provides us with momentum so reliable, so supportive, that you can ride on its back towards any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone and collect our energy through daily practice, physical stamina, exercise, and mental focus meditation are the secret weapons behind the horse's legacy. When in balance, achieves anything and never gives up. When out of balance, runs away, feels weak. To bring into balance, strength training. So acknowledging that your physical health is associated with your mental health. All right, Nightingale. Fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly. The simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable among the flashy plumage of other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. When in balance, sings, speaks freely, and with kindness. When out of balance, shy, lump in the throat. To bring into balance, music. You know, and I mentioned it the other night when I came on, that I have felt kind of like a shut off kind of energy like that. The out of balance. So, and usually music does help me with that. But exercise, like it talked about in the horse card, exercise and meditation can also help with that as well. Did you notice how the sun came out finally while I was reading? It's been really dreary and overcast today. That's the first time I've really kind of seen the sunshine come through. All right. Let me get a drink. It's strawberry banana with strawberry yogurt, fenugreek powder, ashwagandha powder, and flaxseed powder. All right, now we'll get the herbology cards. Last time we got dragon's blood and shape-shifting. Sage was on the bottom of the deck just there. And then after this, we'll get a celestial insights. Something that when I got the new blender, something that I made sure to get is one with a glass container instead of a plastic one. Just in case you're not aware of it. I think most people are to a certain degree at this point, but the amount of microplastics that we consume due to our everything from our eating utensils to our bowls, to our bottles, to our cups, to our storage containers are all made out of plastic. And the plastic leaches into those products over time. So if you think about it, in a blender, if the container is plastic, you got blades and you've got different kinds of harsh material crunching up against the inside of it. So, you're exposing yourself to microplastics there. All right. Milk Thistle, Peaceful Warrior, number 23. Ooh, and in the reverse, Enchantment. Rahandala. Let me look this up real quick and see how we pronounce it. Okay. Rhodiola. Rhodiola, card number 37, Enchantment. It's got a unicorn. It's the first thing I noticed about it. And then you got Milk Thistle, 23, Peaceful Warrior. Notice she's got a badger on her head. Okay. 23 and 37, 5. 37 makes a 10, which would break down to a 1. All right, 23, Milk Thistle. Peaceful Warrior, Shield, Truth Keeper, Shelter, Sanctuary, Safekeeping, and Justice. Astrological ruler, Mars and the Moon. Native to the Mediterranean, the Greek physician and botanist Dioscorides, I'm sure I'm probably saying that wrong, was the first to write down milk thistle's healing properties in the 1st century AD. Milk thistle was a remedy for diseases of melancholy, assisted with the production of breast milk, and acted as a powerful anti-inflammatory for the liver and gallbladder. Milk thistle's characteristics, violet fuchsia flowers, and white veined leaves are said to embody the Virgin Mary's milk. There are many magic rituals associated with this protective flower. Traditionally, flowers were thrown into the fire to deflect lightning, and garments were woven with thistle fibers to protect the wearer from any spells. Dolls, puppets, and magical tools were often stuffed with thistle to break negative depressive spells, melancholy, and evil hexes. In Europe, witches would make large vats of thistle to call in the spirits. A bowl of thistle tea in a room is said to revitalize energy, bring strength, and renew the spirits. Thistle was often planted in entryways to ward off thieves or parasitic energy. Milk thistle embodies the spirit of the fierce badger, and it's an aggressive healer known to rid the body of disease, poison, and toxic substances. Many Native American traditions associate badger medicine with powerful medicine women, as badgers are some of the great protectors of Earth's medicine. Badgers act quickly and efficiently in a crisis, and they do not panic. Embodying the primal warrior elements of Mars, badgers fearlessly find the means and courage to protect what's theirs, regardless of the consequences. Milk thistle also falls under the moon's rulership, as it's a galactigo, meaning it assists in milk production, along with assisting the entire gastrointestinal system. Milk thistle guidance. Milk thistle dispels the damaging and destructive thoughts that can induce an endless loop of self-sabotage. Abandon insecurity, gossip, and fear-based protection strategies that enable frustration or a false sense of growth. Do not waste your time trying to control what cannot be controlled. Like a peaceful warrior, set your boundaries firmly and fearlessly. Like Badger, Milk Thistle shakes up systems that hinder innovation and halts patterns and behaviors that stunt. Boy, if that doesn't, in a nutshell, talk about everything that we've already talked about this morning. I cannot change which way the river bends, so I might as well strap in and enjoy this strange little boat ride. Did anyone bring a cooler? And for me, it's very odd that it actually brings up a cooler, because this morning on Marketplace, I saw a Scooby-Doo cooler, igloo cooler, that it's made to look like the van, and I for real wanted that thing. But yeah, pack a cooler, pack a picnic, enjoy the ride. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. That's why a lot of people don't do it. All right. Upright. This is card number 37, Enchantment. Magic, wisdom keeper, purity, higher consciousness, clarity, intuitive intellect, and enchantment. Astrological ruler, Uranus and Mercury. For centuries, golden root has been used in Russian and Scandinavian traditional medicine. Many studies have been published on this root. It has been used to increase physical endurance, longevity, energy, productivity, and resistance to high altitude sickness, and to treat fatigue, depression, anemia, impotence, gastrointestinal ailments, infections, and nervous system disorders. Wow. Golden root. In Asia, it is called plateau ginseng, and Tibetans consider it to be a sacred herb. And other Himalayan, it has been used by the Tibetan and other Himalayan peoples as a tonic herb, while Himalayan Buddhist monks use the herb to enhance their spiritual power and increase concentration, mental capacity, memory, and endurance. The Viking used this aromatic root of golden, what was it called? Golden root, to fight infections and increase sexual prowess and sensual appetite, and enhance fertility. Alaskan natives used it as a medicine and food, made tea from the flowers or the 4 to 5 year old roots, and used the leaves and stems in salad and even sauerkraut. To this day, mountain villagers in Siberia use as a banquet of the sought-after roots prior to marriage to enhance loyalty, birth of healthy children, and increase fertility. Wow. Chinese emperors would send group expeditions to Siberia to harvest wild golden roots, as they knew it was the Siberian people's secret to staying strong and vibrant through the harshest conditions. Ruled by Uranus and Mercury, it has the energetic signature of the elusive unicorn, embodying the elements of intelligence, purity, fierce intuition, mastery, and wisdom. Unicorns are gatekeepers, ancient protectors of the forest. Like Uranus, your genius brings lightning-like brilliance to the moment, insight without bias, an intellect founded on intuition and grounded with the power of truth. On the contrary, this can signify a time of mental or emotional blockage, disconnection to divinity, intellect without intuition, and emotional immaturity. Guidance. The unicorn is known as the great protector of the forest. Like goldenroot, some unicorns are said to live near high mountains to this day, nourishing and protecting the wise and ancient forests left. Goldenroot is in your cards today to remind you that you are intelligence embodied, intuitive, articulate, and knowledgeable. You exude mastery, purity, authority, and wisdom. Emotions do not cloud your judgment. Your actions are measured carefully and intuitively as you contain ancient codes on the ways of heaven and earth. The subtle essence of the unicorn resides in the third eye, and we got the third mysticism. The unicorn is a mystical creature. The subtle essence of the unicorn resides in the third eye. If unicorn medicine comes to you, your sense of wise creativity and aliveness will deepen. Don't neglect your medicine. Honor your natural gifts. Stand tall, own your medicine, and who you are becoming. Wow. Embracing the unseen. Embracing what's to come. You know, the more I read these herbology cards, the more, like, it just amazes me the different things that can be accomplished just by learning. You know, there's so much knowledge. There's no way anybody could ever know it all. But, like, sometimes I wish I could just have that life where I just sit around and learn about new stuff all the time. You know, but then I have that sense inside me where, you know, obviously I want to be able to apply that knowledge instead of just carrying around, you know, like carrying around an encyclopedia in my head and not sharing the information. All right, now we'll get a celestial insights. Last time we got time, strength, and freedom. Embracing the mysticism, embracing the unknown instead of being afraid of it. Find the fun in it. Make it pros and cons if you have to. Be enthusiastic about the enlightenment, about the process in itself, about the journey. So many of us just get like so burnt out and bored and fed up, and we're just like, what's it all for? And usually it takes getting to that breaking point to where we're like, there's got to be a better way. This can't be all it is. And that, I mean, that's what the journey is about in reality. It's about reaching that point. Once you realizing you're at that point, what are you going to do to change it? And really that change that changing never ends. That learning never ends. That trying to apply the new things that you've learned, it never ends. Because if you're constantly learning, it means, and you're applying the things that you're learning, it means things are constantly changing. But embrace that. Be excited about it. Share it with others. So not only can they help you embrace your journey, but you can encourage them to embrace theirs. Emotion. Synchronicity, surprised on the bottom of the deck. Wow. Followed by yes. Let go, love. We got that just a couple days ago on the top of the deck. Balance. Spirit. Wow. That tells a story in itself. So the first set of 3 is emotion, synchronicity, and surprise. Synchronicity, surprise, and yes. Your emotions are guiding you through life's challenges. Have you been suppressing your feelings? Let them flow naturally. Whether joy or sadness, your emotions are your strength. Life's coincidences are often the universe's way of guiding you. Have you noticed unexpected synchronicities? These signs may be helping you find your path forward. We already talked about that this morning. And then, yes, the answer to your question is yes. Have you been hesitant about a decision? The universe is giving you a clear sign to move forward. Trust in this path. So, if you needed confirmation, there it is. Trust the journey. Trust your intuition. All right, and then you on the top of the deck, you had Let Go Love, which we recently got that. Balance and Spirit. Letting go of past love opens the door to new possibilities. Are you holding on to an old relationship? Release it, and you'll find peace and the potential for new love. So letting go of all the hurt, the disappointment, the confusion, the lack that came from all these. Even if you were, even if you've walked away from those bad influences, those, past love, family, friends, coworkers, whatever that is, even if you've already walked away from the situation itself, letting go of the emotions that still attach us to that frame of mind. All right, and then we have balance. Balance is the key to a harmonious life. Have you been feeling out of sync? Adjust how you spend your time and energy to ensure you maintain a healthy equilibrium. I did talk about the energy already this morning, and I talked about it the other day. Spirit. The power of your spirit is always there, quietly supporting you. If you feel lost, take time to listen to your inner voice. Through meditation or simple outdoor activities, you can reconnect with your inner strength. Boom. There it is. The relationship with spirit. The power of your spirit is always there, quietly supporting you. All right, I'm going to put those 3 back in because we normally don't take that many, but I felt compelled to. So synchronicities, we already talked about that. I talked about that this morning. Waking yourself up to the point to where you start to see all the synchronicities, and then getting to the point to where you can actually find the humor in it, like the crazy, just the smallest, littlest things that line up. And if you're able to see them and you acknowledge them and then you watch them add up, it's just crazy. In a good way. I must say, that is like the best smoothie cup ever because it's barely even melted yet at all. All right, now we'll get a minerals card. Crystals. Explore the universe of gems and minerals. Last time we got pyrite and heliotrope. It is 11:48 real time. It was 104:18 on the timer. I keep hearing like a bug buzzing. A bug has made its way into the house. All right. Oh my gosh. I have no idea how to pronounce that. We are going to learn together. Oddly enough, the beginning spelling is very similar to the plant. RHODOCHROSITE.
Rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite.
Rhodochrosite.
Rhodochrosite.
Rhodochrosite. And we did see the crow. In the bird card, we did see the crow. That's kind of cray-cray.
Rhodochrosite.
Rhodochrosite. Love, compassion, and serenity. Crystal fact. The largest ever found, the Alma King, is about as big as a football. Oh wow, that's a pretty large rock. It's got like different shades of pink and tan in it. There's a better picture of it. Love, compassion, sincerity. All right, now we'll get an Archangel Fire Oracle, and then we'll get the Mary Magdalene, and we'll be done. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your day. I hope you have a peaceful, productive, positive day today. Sending you loads of loving, healing energy. Last time we got Jophiel, card number 15. A lot of partnership energy and a lot of spirit energy. Embracing the changes that have happened. Being excited about the changes that are coming. Taking the time to make sure that that those are actually changes that you want. Did you make did you make the right choices for yourself? Have you been seeing a lot of synchronicities here lately? What are those synchronicities? What do you think about when you see those synchronicities? We got two. Xandophon and the twins. I'm going to put those back in because the messages are so long on these cards. Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel. The white dove. We did see the dove. Card number 28. Holy purpose. Beautiful Gabriel is one of the most famous archangels along with Michael. Gabriel can be perceived as either male or female and is shown in this card as an androgynous figure to honor the balance of the angel's masculine and feminine qualities. Known as God's messenger, Gabriel's name means God has shown himself. He helps us discover our truth and true life path, and is particularly helpful to writers and those in the communication industry. We already got something about the writing. I think that might have been in the flicker card. Gabriel brings hope in times of hardship, accompanies new beginnings, and guides us through the veil of illusion. We already talked about that today. I recall my mother saying he once appeared to her in our house when I was a child. She heard a sound like trumpets, and when she turned around, there was a huge figure as tall as the ceiling in flowing white robes, standing at the top of the stairs. She felt a sense of overwhelming joy. The angel only appeared for a minute, then it shimmered and disappeared. My mother taught me about the angels from a very young age, and she'd always help me pray to Gabriel for guidance. Still today, I feel this beautiful angel guiding and reassuring me. Sometimes I see bright white sparkles when Gabriel is near, and there's a sense of being in flow with the universe, as though everything I touch turns to gold. Gabriel can bring hope during those times when you may feel all hope is lost. Years ago, I lost my job as the editor of a national spiritual magazine. I was devastated and thought I had lost my entire purpose. I felt like a failure because it seemed as though my whole life had crumbled beneath me. With very little money in the bank and what seemed like very few prospects, I went through a difficult period that lasted a number of years. What I experienced was what many would call a dark night of the soul. But when I was at my lowest point, Gabriel managed to bring me a message of hope. Walking home on a gloomy London afternoon, I had my headphones in to try to take my mind off my heavy emotions. Music, it's talking about music again. That's like music has always held so much meaning for me. It's also one of the ways the angels can bring us signs. So I often tune in to the words of the songs to see if they contain a personal message for me. I had put my music on shuffle mode that day, and as I would often do, I asked the universe to choose the right songs I needed to hear on my walk home. Almost as soon as I had the thought, a song came on that I had never heard before. When the melody began, it was quite slow and melancholy. But even before I heard the words, I noticed a familiar tingling feeling, and my heart began to expand. I had no idea this song even existed, let alone that I had a copy of it in my own music collection. When the words did start, my heart burst wide open and tears came to my eyes. Quote, I can fly, but I want his wings. I can shine even in the darkness, but I crave the light that he brings. My angel, Gabriel. End quote. The song just happened to be included on a compilation album I had bought a few years before and had not yet listened to. The emergence of that song on that very day at that precise moment when I needed a sign from the universe was absolute proof to me that the divine messenger Gabriel was right there by my side, bringing me confirmation that things were going to be okay. You can never truly lose your purpose, and although it may sometimes seem as though you have lost your way, you might just be leveling up. We talked about that already this morning. New levels, new devils. The universe will move you away from any situation that is holding you back so that you can step into a much bigger role when you are ready. Gabriel and the angels will always ensure that you are on the right path. This oracle deck is living proof that Gabriel's message to me that day was correct. Ask Gabriel to bring you a sign of hope during challenging times and to help you align with your true soul purpose. Gabriel can ensure your deepest desires are fulfilled, and when you lose your way, this angel will blow his trumpet to remind you to believe in yourself. Message: you are in total alignment with your sacred purpose. Feel hopeful. All is unfolding exactly as it should according to the divine plan for your life. You can become the essence of Archangel Gabriel when you help bring hope to others and remind them that they are never alone. Sometimes just knowing that someone believes in you can be deeply healing and motivating. What do I talk about here all the time? Sometimes people just need to feel acknowledged, to feel seen, to feel like somebody actually gives a damn. That can make so much difference in somebody's life. Is there a person you know who you feel could use a little bit more encouragement? Reaching out to that person could change their day, and what's more, it will bring you a sense of fulfillment knowing that you helped another. Trust that you also have unlimited support around you. We already got that. And can achieve great things when you believe in yourself. Be hopeful and trust the journey is unfolding in the best way for all. Gabriel is a gentle and loving angel. So be gentle and loving to yourself and all people and creatures of earth. So once again, coming full circle, loving yourself, being able to be your own cheerleader, your own confidant, but also being able to share that with others. That doesn't mean taking on their burdens as your own. That just means sprinkling a little encouragement, advice, support, love, energy, time for somebody else. I say it at the end of every video. You never know what one small act of kindness, what may seem so trivial to you, could literally change somebody's day or their life. I mean, that is true. I've seen it. I've experienced it. And now there's video evidence all over the internet of, miracles coming shaped in all shapes and sizes. Okay. Now we'll get a Mary Magdalene. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to get a Wild Offering Oracle. We haven't pulled from these in a little while. And we'll also get a scripture card for the day. Clarity. Let me trust my deepest instincts in all ways. Trusting in your intuition. Where else did we get clarity? Well, enlightenment. It's the same thing as clarity. Enlightenment. Especially when matters are unclear. May my own holy intuition always guide the way. Prayer and enlightenment. Pray about it. Meditate about it. Think about it. Not doing anything about it is making a decision. No matter what it is that you're dealing with, ignoring it is you're making a choice not to do anything about it. So pretending like the issue isn't there isn't going to solve the issue. It's still going to be there. I don't remember how long ago it was that it came up where we talked about, you can't run from yourself. You can't run from the problems that are internal. They're going to follow you anywhere you go. You could travel completely around to the other side of the world. And if hello, happy Friday. If the problems, issues, trials, tribulations, whatever are within you, you can't run from that. Believe, I've tried. Most of us, once we get to a certain point in our life, we have tried. And that's what helps us start this whole process, is seeing, acknowledging, accepting that, sometimes we have to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and do things that we don't want to do. And so, it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of willpower, of want to. Going back to what we said earlier, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to walk away from everything that you've ever known to go on an adventure out what you want and how bad you want it? Because a lot of us come to a point in our lives where we realize we don't even know what the hell we want. We don't know what we want out of life. We don't know how to get where we want to be. So taking the time to figure that out. Even if you've been on that journey for a while, taking the time to step back and check in with yourself. What have you accomplished? What are some things that maybe got left in the background and you tried to pretend like they weren't there? Or, you just got busy doing other stuff. That's way too many. Christ, the soul, the fourth power, and witness. Freedom. Freedom. I'm called here to be free. Freedom from other people's expectations. Freedom from other people's judgment. I am called here to be free. This is it. This is the mountaintop, the ultimate place to reach. This moment, this exalted state of just being fully here right now in this breath, in this body. This is what we work so hard for. Freedom. And this is what makes freedom so powerful. It's not dependent on anything outside of us. A single event or a singular person in our life, no matter how significant. Freedom comes from within. So we can experience freedom even in the midst of the most tremendous pain or the most stressful circumstances. Freedom is not bound to anything that's temporary. Freedom is the glorious inner state of peace we can reach when we've unbound ourselves from all the egoic states that confine our perception. Freedom feels like a blank slate, a wide expanse, a universe of possibilities suddenly opening up from within. Freedom is our birthright. Christ reminds us in Galatians 5:13, quote, "Remember, friends, the call came to give you freedom," end quote. We are called here to be free, both externally and internally. Free from persecution, free from oppression, free from others causing us harm, and free from our own thoughts that harm us from within. We are here to free ourselves and to be in service of a love that actively works to end oppression in all its forms. We cultivate the state of feeling free by remembering that freedom is our birthright. No matter what unfolds, no matter how often the ego tries to bind us in one of its 7 powers, there's a freedom that comes from within. It's a freedom that no one can ever take from us. There's a freedom that's divine. It's witnessed and then passed on from heart to liberated heart. There's a freedom that comes from knowing true peace, from remembering the good we are, from aligning again with the source of love itself. This is what we're called here to be, free. This is what we're called here to demonstrate, to protect, and to advocate for each other. Freedom. Soul voice meditation. What does freedom feel like for me in this moment? What is something that held you back at one point in your life that you have now overcome and you're free from? whether it's addiction, confusion, procrastination, lack of self-love. What is something that you struggled with that almost kept you a prisoner that you are now free from? Or what are some other areas where you could be seeking to find that freedom? Freedom of choice, freedom of voice, freedom to love yourself, freedom to make decisions based on what makes you happy instead of for what makes other people happy. The freedom of being bound because you didn't have boundaries. Learning how to set boundaries so we can unbind ourselves. $513, 1-3. We did get 1133 crossroads. So if you find yourself at a crossroads where you're seeking clarity, where you're searching for that inner strength, go into prayer, go into meditation. Look, see this enlightenment card? If you look at the expression on his face, even though he's standing up, he is still in a meditative state. Knowing that everything's going to be okay, but also knowing that you have to play a part in your own healing, in your own growing. You have to play a part in receiving the clarity, receiving the enlightenment, embracing the mysticism, embracing the synchronicities, letting go of the old emotions, the old pent-up emotion. That may be a place where you're still seeking that freedom. I know I still deal with it, with my emotions. Seeking freedom from feeling like you're controlled by your emotions. Learning how to control your emotions so that you can embrace a new kind of freedom. Peacefulness and generosity. Love and compassion. Embracing the emotions, like where the Wild Offering Oracle, the feelings card, where it talks about feelings need to be felt. Embracing those emotions so that you can let go. Remember, in the other 3 celestial insights, we did get the let go love. Whether joy or sadness, your emotions are your strength. So, something that I've dealt with my whole life is people telling me that I'm too sensitive, that I'm too emotional. And to a point, that is true. But all character traits like that, no matter what it is that you're talking about, has a negative and a positive. So yes, there are, when I don't know how to balance it and harness and embrace it, those emotions can be destructive. But other times, those emotions is what pushes you to clarity and helps you find freedom and gets you to that point to where you call out for help, either to people that are physically here or on the spirit realm, your angels, your ancestors, your spirit guides, the Most High, humbling ourselves to ask for help. Going back to the affirmation, the chakra affirmation, I encourage myself to express my sensuality and emotions creatively. I practice being aware of and enjoying my senses being nourished. All right. So, it kind of has been a running theme here lately about like embracing the new. Being honest with ourselves about not only the good, but the bad as well. Or I shouldn't say the bad, but, acknowledging and giving ourselves credit where credit is due, but also acknowledging that there's still a lot of work to do. That journey is really never over. So, embrace. I can't change which way the river bends, so I might as well strap in and enjoy this strange little boat ride. I always say roller coaster ride, just throw your hands in the air and enjoy the ride. Wave them around like you just don't care. It's, we've all got to do it. Our journeys may be different, but the ultimate outcome is that we're striving for is the same. In reality, we all just want happiness and love and comfort and joy. And, sometimes those things are more difficult to accomplish than others. All right, we're going to get a prayer card and then we'll call it for the day. 1:32:12 on the timer when I looked. Psalm 127:3. No doubt about it, children are a gift from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a divine reward. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure that's not the exact scripture. So we will pull that up. Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb a reward. It emphasizes that children are not just a result of procreation, but a gift and blessing from God. Embracing the next generation. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him. Don't you see that children are God's best gift? The fruit of the womb is His generous legacy. I don't know why that makes me think of abortion. But nonetheless, loving the children, loving the next generation, encouraging them to be true to who they are, encouraging them to love themselves, to love thy neighbor, and to walk around with a joyful heart and generosity and offer that peace that they harness to other people. Because to love and to live and to think like a child, that is a treasure that should always be embraced. All right. We've gone super long today. Thank you for stopping by. A thumbs up would be great. A subscribe would be even better. Obviously, not expected, but definitely appreciated. As always, be grateful for what you have, the big, the small, and the blessings yet to come. If you see a need out there today, tomorrow, next week, if there's any possible way that you can fill that need, please do so. You may not only better their day, but you could possibly change their life, and you never know the impact it could have on yours. Be blessed, find peace, and I'll see you next time.